Welcome. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we are delighted that you have welcomed us into your home. We certainly would love to hear from you. So please send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@EWTN.com. Well, this is Pro-Life Month, and EWTN is giving you beautiful coverage par excellence for the marches that will happen this week. So we have the March for Life that will happen on Friday, January 21st, and then Saturday, January 22nd, the Walk Life West Coast. Yeah. And then there's also LA March, right? And that's happening too. So One Life LA, which is important. So if you're not in any of those major areas, there's local marches that are happening all over the country.
There's marches, and we did a march every year for many, many years. And 2 years ago, we stopped doing the march, and we go right to Planned Parenthood.
Right.
So we had like 500, 600 people right out in front of Planned Parenthood.
Right.
And for an hour-long prayer vigil and time of witness. So there's a variety of things that can be done, and I'm sure you can find out in your community. You can also go to March for Life, I think it's marchforlife.org, and they list local things that are happening.
Yeah, so that's important. Now, today our guest again will be Janet Morana, who she is the executive director of Priests for Life. And you also see her here on EWTN, where she hosts the show Defending Life and Catholic Women, right? So yes. Catholic View for Women. So she does that with Teresa Tomeo. So and she was so informative yesterday just about how many things Priests for Life is doing, especially with myheartbeatsjustlikeyours.com, which is a great website and full of information for you.
Yeah, and we mentioned the materials, the brochures, and so in that one brochure it has these beautiful images, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, and what's happening at those stages. At the bottom of it, just real quick. Since 1973, over 62 million abortions have been performed in the United States of America. God forgive us. It says 354,871 abortions were performed at Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest abortion provider. 20,000 women annually suffer abortion complications. 300 legal abortion clinics in 39 states were cited for health and safety violations. 15 states do not license or inspect abortion businesses. So as well as all the fetal development, what's going on, the beautiful images, you got facts here, this equips you to do the work of the pro-life ministry, to be a person of life. All together, we are a people of life to build a new culture of life. And Priests for Life, priestsforlife.org, is right at the cutting edge of that movement to equip God's people for this time to bring an end to abortion and to bring us back to the sacredness and dignity of every human being. We'll be right back. Plenty more to come. Don't go away.
Welcome back. Well, you're at home with Jim and Joy, and today our guest again is Janet Morana, and she is the executive director of Priests for Life. You can visit their website at endabortion.us. And also they have a beautiful campaign, which we talked about, myheartbeatsjustlikeyours.com, where you can get this beautiful brochure. And I'll tell you what, if you have a local abortion clinic in your town and you've never showed up at it, go to endabortion.us, get these brochures, or go to My Heart Beats Just Like Yours, get these brochures. You go stand out in front of your abortion clinic, you will be empowered with the truth. Even if you just stand there and you pray and you hand these out to the girls going in, a conversion could happen.
And they've got buttons with the image of the preborn on it, shirts and water bottles, and of course on that site there's different links where you can see these images, you can see the video, you can purchase these things. So everything is there. It's a one-stop shop place on behalf of the gospel of life.
Right, and you're going to be empowered with just the truth and just the facts, but go out in God's perfect love. And so, Janet, we want to welcome you back to At Home. We're delighted to have you. Now,
Thank
tell
you.
our family, you know, Priest for Life office, headquarters, used to be in Staten Island. And then a couple of years ago, they moved down to Florida. So tell our family about that move.
Well, it was pretty amazing. We used to rent a building up in Staten Island, New York. And I remember, Jim, at one time you worked for
that's
us
right.
up there and used to travel up and visit with us. You came there too, Joy.
Yeah.
And, you know, the cost of working in New York has becoming worse, you know, more and more and more. And we got to a juncture where it was time to either renew our lease or explore. And we explored. And we came down to Florida. I actually have family in this area. And we came to visit, and we found a beautiful building that we purchased. And that's where our studio here. We have a studio here, a TV and radio studio, 20,000 square foot building that we now own. So it was a better financial move for the ministry. We're in Brevard County. We're right by the Kennedy Space Center. We see rockets go off all the time. In fact, there's another one going up tomorrow. But it's a beautiful area. It's very conservative area here in Florida. We actually see pro-life billboards up. And here, Joy, they say, bless your heart.
Yeah, isn't that a nice thing to say?
It's a nice thing. People hold doors for you. They say, God bless you. We're just loving the atmosphere. We've been so embraced. We have a lot of volunteers stop by. And in snowbird season, of course, I want to invite our viewers, if you come to Florida in Brevard County, snowbirds, you're coming down, come to Priest for Life. We'd love to welcome you.
Yeah.
So it's been a real blessing. We have to thank our donors who assisted in this great move. But it's a great atmosphere to work in. It really is.
Thank God.
Janet, share with us, you know, so you shared the building and its footage and so on. And so people just might have the idea that, hey, this is where people are working, they're all at their desks, and that's all true. But what else happens in that building in terms of media or in terms of other things of getting the word out?
Right. Well, like I'm speaking to you from our TV studio.
Okay.
So we now, first of all, we just historically filmed the Defending Life series for EWTN here at our building.
Wow.
And we just sent over the first episode for them to, view. So that's a milestone of a real improvement, because now the network doesn't have to have us come there, fly in, bring the set there.
Wow.
So we're excited about that. We have to thank Doug Keck and Peter Gagnon, who gave us this great opportunity to say, well, why don't you guys try doing the series there in your new TV studio? So historically, we just did that and delivered the very, very first show up to EWTN. So we're excited about that. And we have a radio studio. So Father Pavone and I do radio spots, interviews. In fact, I'll be in our radio studio tomorrow morning with Teresa Tomeo. She's having me on Catholic Connection. So it's a great blessing. We have a social media department. And so we have, it's called endabortion.tv, where we stream programming up there all throughout the day, and, important pro-life news and information. So it's a whole new world. We have a resource department that's, I would say, Jim, it's about 3 or 4 times the size of what we had in New York.
Wow.
So now we have more pro-life materials and books and resources that we just get out all over to everybody. So the building is a blessing. And because we were able to spread out, even during COVID, we've been able to put employees in their own office space to keep everyone safe here, too. So I'm telling you, it's truly a blessing that we came here. It really is.
Perfect timing. Thank God.
Well, Janet, Priest for Life is such a blessing in so many ways. And in a lot of ways, Priest for Life simply echoes the truth about science and about the teaching of the church. So it echoes that. That's a big word for Priest for Life, to echo. But also, Priest for Life is just so creative. I mean, your openness to God, openness to Holy Spirit, openness to what is happening at this time, and how do we address it. So share with us a number of other campaigns or projects that you have, and one that I was not familiar with at all. I see you're mentioning the Good Shepherd Project. What is that, and why is it necessary? What is it addressing?
Well, as you know, Priests for Life, for decades, we have gone around the country, Father Pavone and our other priests, giving seminars for clergy. But now we're in a new age, as you know, with COVID, with Zoom. Everyone has gotten used to conferences now on Zoom. So we came up with the concept of, instead of going on the road, let's have conferences for clergy, priests, and deacons via Zoom. So we call the project the Good Shepherd Project because, as we know, what does the Good Shepherd do? He'll leave that 99, those souls that are already going to Mass, receiving the sacraments, and they'll go after that one lost sheep. But who are the sheep that are lost the most? Well, we know it's the women and men who are hurting from abortion, because they feel the church doesn't understand their pain. They feel it's the unforgivable sin. And then on the other hand, we have clergy who are afraid to address it in the pulpit because they don't want to hurt them. But yet they don't understand silence isn't helping them. And so we came up with the concept of the Good Shepherd Project to train the clergy, to show them very practically how they can kind of change the dynamic in the pulpit just a little bit to welcome them. So we launched this September, past September 2021. It's a once a month Zoom conference for 1 hour. We had Dr. Teresa Burke on the first one, and actually we were thrilled that Bishop Coffey, with the Archdiocese of the Military, he has endorsed the project, and he opened up the first conference, welcoming the clergy. And then we had one a month, so we did September, October, and November, and we dealt with different aspects of reaching the abortion-hurting men and women. And 1 month, we really focused in on the sacraments. We had a couple on, and we addressed that in pre-Cana. If we don't bring up this, the damage it can occur to that couple through their marriage. And this particular couple, they had their abortion when they were seniors in high school. They went off to college. They later married. And they said the first 20 years of their marriage, they were just struggling through their marriage and struggling until they finally hit a brick wall, found Rachel's Vineyard, got healing. And then they spoke about, why didn't someone say something to us during pre-Cana, bring this up? It was like it's like the big white elephant in the room. No one wanted to talk about it. So they were able to answer the questions of the priests and deacons on the Zoom. They presented, and Dr. Teresa Burke and Kevin Burke and Father Pavone all gave commentary. And then there was a period of discussion. And we received such great response from the clergy because they said, we never heard these things before. And then we gave them resources, Jim and Joy. We gave them Father Pavone's book, Proclaiming the Message of Life, which gives them homily hints, launching points, how to mention life in a sermon, but not the whole thing has to be about abortion. We made them understand that the silence in the pulpit doesn't help these people. But then also, when you're meeting them in these sacramental preparations, whether it's marriage, or they're bringing a child for baptism, or their kids are coming in for communion, as you know, so many couples, they're kind of going through it, like pushing the children out to receive the sacraments, but they're not bringing them to church. Why? Because they're just kind of watching it like a show and saying, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. But they're afraid to admit that abortion because they think they're going to be condemned. So we had the first few sessions. They were well received, and we're very excited. We're going to pick them back up in February. So if there's any clergy watching, priests and deacons, if you want to get involved, just go to thegoodshepherdproject.com. There's a full website page there, explains the project and gives you an opportunity to sign up, and then we'll invite you to the next seminar. So, I'm just so excited about this because it's a way of reaching people without having to get on a jet plane, as you know. We both walked a lot of miles doing that, right?
That's for sure. Well, what you're sharing is incredibly profound and so needed. And I learned, my time with Priests for Life, Joy and I have done premarital counseling for many, many years when I served as an Episcopal priest, and then even after that. And in talking with people from Priests for Life, especially Teresa Burke, it became very clear to me that in our forms that we would give to people as they came for premarital counseling, Teresa recommended, at some point you need to put into your form, have you ever suffered pregnancy loss? Have you ever suffered pregnancy? And we didn't do that for decades until she presented that concept. because of the reasons that you're saying, that this needs to be addressed, and we would do it individually. Hopefully they would say if they have experienced pregnancy loss, we wouldn't bring it up to the other one unless that was allowed by the one who's experienced a pregnancy loss. But yeah, living with this secret and going into a marriage when you've experienced, when you're post-abortive, a guy or a woman, the impact of that on a marriage, and you shared that to some degree. So very, very important. And so these people can be set free and come into this marriage in all honesty, beauty, forgiveness, and without that secret, without that burden. And Jen, let me ask you, when this Good Shepherd Project, are you speaking with clergy only, or seminarians, deacons, or all three groups, or what?
Well, right now what we're doing is, on these initial ones, we invite priests and deacons together. Okay?
Yeah.
But our hope is, as we keep going onward, to expand it to seminarians. And then we actually got extra emails from lay people saying, can we get on the seminar?
Yeah.
So we see there's a need to have a separate seminar for lay people, because the ones for clergy, as you know, Jim, are really focusing in on where priests can talk and deacons among themselves and ask questions freely. I mean, when they were asking this post-abortive couple questions, it was very profound for the learning that was going on about, oh my goodness, like you said, the form, the very important phrase is there. You don't use the word abortion like you just said. You say, has there been any pregnancy loss? Pregnancy loss. That just kind of opens the door.
Yeah.
And most times they'll put their head down, the eyes will be down, or tears will come. And then there's something there that we have to deep down a little bit further. And it will save them years and years, because then you can refer them to Rachel's Vineyard before they get married. They can resolve it. And it just brings so much more joy into their marriage than bringing this baggage into it, you know?
Yes.
Well, you know, that is an outstanding ministry, but you always would say, and Father Frank too, even if the priest isn't saying anything, at least put hurting after abortion and put it in a bulletin, your church bulletin.
The bulletin.
Right?
That's
How
right.
important that is, so that a girl is sitting in church and then now you threw her a lifeline. You threw her a lifeline to say, okay, I could contact Rachel's Vineyard, and maybe, I could go to this website and find out where there's a post-abortion healing ministry for me. And that's a very simple thing to do. And you and Father Frank have always been proclaimers of just that little simple message.
Well, yeah, because what it does is, see, a lot of and we know this from the voices and testimonies of the women, when they're trying to put their toe back in the water to God, right, and it's an experiment, they'll go to the church, and they'll very often be in the back of the church. And what they're doing initially is, one woman told me, oh, yeah, we audition the priests. We listen to their homilies, their sermons, and we go from church to church. We're wondering, will he understand? And then they sit there reading the bulletin. So like you just said, Joy, that's what we recommend. Not on the inside, but on the outside template that never changes, right? Has the address and all that. A little box. Hurting from abortion?
Yes.
We understand. Go to abortionforgiveness.com. That simple link will take them to a page we have. Put in their zip code. They see where the nearest Rachel's Vineyard retreat is. And then the other thing is, pregnant need help.
Right.
And then you put the pregnancy, optionline.org or something.
Yeah.
And so what that does, that sends a message. Oh, we're here for you. We're here for you, and we understand. So it's so important.
So even what we're sharing now, and we'll put it up, optionline.org, you might be considering an abortion. You may have had an abortion. Go to optionline.org. You'll get the help that's there. And also, you can just put in your zip code in optionline.org. They'll tell you what pregnancy medical centers are there, healing options for you. And we've seen through the show, I know you know this as well with Defending Life, those that were thinking about abortion who didn't have an abortion, they actually called, or those who have had an abortion 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago. We had a woman in her 80s, and she called and never shared about this, and we were able to get her some healing help. And how many women are sharing about this on their deathbeds? You don't have to wait that long.
Yes.
And it's interesting, Janet, it doesn't take that much to heal an incredible wound, or just to say something, to invite people back. Because once it comes to the light in some way, even in a confidential way, and it's not blasted all over the place, the light comes in and God begins to work. And you know, these people are us. I mean, we're the ones that have been involved with this, many of us, and these are our families, and these are Christian people, these are Catholic people that didn't know or maybe did know and did whatever, and if we just give them a little bit of light and say, there's a safe environment, something secure for you to share, we're here for you. Let's just spend, we only got like 2.5 minutes left, but real quick again, Priests for Life is at the center of post-abortion healing, as well as rescuing babies from abortion. Share with us, again, what Priests for Life is doing and why this is important.
Well, of course, we have Rachel's Vineyard is a ministry of Priests for Life with Dr. Teresa Burke and her husband Kevin, a co-founder. Father Pavone is the pastoral director of it. And it has grown so much. They're in about, let me think, it's about 75 countries now, Rachel's Vineyard. Yeah. The retreat program has been translated in over 25 different languages. It's just amazing. So again, you can go to their, we just redid their website, rachelsvineyard.org. It's a brand new website, loads of information up there. And the retreats are all opened up back now, post-COVID. And in fact, during COVID, the retreats went on via Zoom, and Teresa Burke even wrote all kinds of protocols to work through that whole period so people could still find healing. And so we are just so, privileged and honored with all the, I think Katie and Teresa Burke were telling me over 150,000 women have gone through Rachel's Vineyard.
It's beautiful.
So those are all women who regret their abortion, right? I mean, it's just amazing. And that's why I'm so excited about the Good Shepherd Project, because I think if we can get the clergy to understand that abortion is not a political issue, it's a human rights issue, that your silence does not interpret itself, that the men and women who are hurting, they and their family members are in your pews, and you can address this in a compassionate way. Always talk about there's no such thing as an unforgivable sin. We're here for you to welcome you back. One line that Father Pavone has used so many sermons is, and it's a true line, he said, whether you've had 1, 2, 5, 10, even 24 abortions, he will say, I know a woman that we ministered to who had 24 abortions, but even she, on repenting of her sins, will be welcomed back to the church and to the forgiveness of Jesus. His mercy is endless. And I think it's the mercy of Jesus that when the clergy can just speak it, the floodgates will open and the pews will fill up.
Janet, thank you so much for spending a couple of days, a couple of shows with us. We look forward to seeing you at the March for Life and everything Priests for Life is going to be doing there. Keep up your great work. God has called you, Father Frank, Priests for Life, for such a time as this. Thank you for equipping us.
There marching tomorrow.
I know you will be. We look forward to seeing you. God bless you. Thank you so much, Janet. We're going to take a break at this time. We'll be right back. There's plenty more to come. Don't go away.
Welcome back. Well, we had a wonderful conversation with Janet Morana, who's the executive director at Priests for Life. And with their beautiful campaign, myheartbeatsjustlikeyours.com, please go to their website, or endabortion.us. One of the things that Janet was sharing about was the extravagant mercy and love of Jesus. No matter what you've done, whether you're a man or a woman or grandmother, a mother or a father, and you have participated in some way in an abortion in your past, there's hope, there's healing, there's reconciliation back to God and back to the church. So don't delay. Let this be the hour, the time that you choose to reach out to God and say, oh my God, have mercy on me, and he will heal your soul.
As John Paul II would always say, those who've been most deeply involved in abortion, through God's healing mercy and grace, you will become one of the most eloquent spokespersons on behalf of life, because those who are forgiven much, they love much, and that comes across. They don't say to people, can't see however you would have an abortion when they've been involved in abortion. So we need to remember that. And God's raising up ministries to confront the evils of our very time. EWTN, Priests for Life, other ministries, religious orders, and you. I don't know how Janet said it exactly, but there's some abortions that only you can prevent or address. Only some healings that you can help to bring. The EWTN can't reach these people. Priests for Life doesn't reach them. It's you. God will give you the words to speak. And ministries like Priests for Life and EWTN are here to equip you for the work of the ministry. All together, we will build a new culture of life. And life, marriage, and the family will prevail. Keep it on EWTN. God bless you. God bless all of your loved ones. Be filled with hope and encouragement. Bye now.